Across the African continent family within COMESA, that's the common markets for Eastern and Southern Africa, they're saying no more dependence on dollar. They are now going digital, a cross-border payment system that allows them trade in their own currency without dependence on dollar. Now, for decades, dollar has been used in trading, even among sister or neighbor countries in Africa. And right now, they are saying, why depend on dollar? We can do this in our own currency. Let's watch this video and then we'll come back to talk about it.
So, with Trump destroying America and the value of the US dollar going down, which caused him to blink the last time around, because usually when there's chaos is happening, people buy US debt. So they flee to the dollar because the dollar is the world's reserve currency. So there's a lot of faith in it. But you see a lot of countries trying to shift away from that. You see the price of gold starting to skyrocket, people focusing much more on hard metals for security. Well, right on brand in time with all of that, the common market for Eastern and Southern Africa, better known as COMESA, has launched a new digital retail payments platform. So it's designed to let African countries pay each other in their own currencies instead of relying on the US dollar for trade settlements. So for decades, most African trade deals, even between neighboring countries, have been priced and cleared in dollars. That means if a business in Zambia wants to buy goods from Malawi, both sides have to convert through US banks first. It's slow, it's expensive, and it ties African economies to the value of a currency they don't control. Now, this new system changes that. So the pilot program has started between Malawi and Zambia, and if it succeeds, it'll expand across all 21 COMESA nations. The idea is simple but powerful, so make it possible for traders, farmers, and small businesses to buy and sell across borders without ever touching the US dollar. Kenya, which currently chairs COMESA, has called the move a game changer. President William Ruto and his trade team says it's part of a larger plan to achieve financial independence.
Family, for years, dollar has been used in buying and selling, trading between nations. I'm a Nigerian and I want to trade with Ghana, I have to convert to dollar. I mean, it doesn't make sense, although we know there are advantages and disadvantages. But it doesn't make sense that I want to trade with my sister country, I have to convert to dollar. And right now, countries under COMESA are saying, we can find a way out of this. Why stress ourselves? Why the high interest rates? Why always living on our toes? If the dollar goes up, the interest rates, we are affected. Our market isn't stable because of the dollar and its instabilities. Let's find a way out. And they came up with the digital payment system. Family, Africa loses billions every year just in conversion and transaction in dollar. So why keep up with that? Although we know that at some points we might be bothered about the corrupt leaders and how they're going to do this, spend our money, use our money because these guys are corrupt. But this is a way out for Africa.
Freeing African markets from external shocks caused by US interest rate hikes or dollar shortages. Right now, intra African trade makes about 15% of the continent's total commerce. Compare that to Europe, where countries trade with each other roughly 60% of the time, right? That's a crazy ratio. COMESA's new digital system is a step toward closing that gap by cutting out middlemen, currency conversions, and high transaction fees that keep African economies fragmented. Analysts say that it's not going to be easy, of course, but the success of this system depends on strong currency policies, stable exchange rates, and trust between central banks. But it's also a bold statement that Africa is done being a passive player in a global system built to serve others first. If it works, it could mark the start of a new era where Africa trades on its own terms, in its own money, and for its own growth.
This is a way out for these countries. Dependence on dollar is just something else. In Nigeria, everything skyrockets because they feel dollar is on the high side. Why should the poorest of the poor suffer just because of the dollar? This system they're rolling out is tied to the regional payment and settlement system. What does it mean? If Ethiopia wants to buy goods from Uganda, you use the currency of Uganda to pay. You convert to the currency of that country, not dollars. I want to buy goods in Ghana. I want to trade in Ghana. I convert to Ghanaian, to cedis, to their money, their currency, not in dollars. Why does this matter, family? For years, countries that do not align with the US interests often face sanctions. They are cut off from the SWIFT interests. Now, this is a move towards de-dollarization because African countries are saying no more to dollar dependence, no more to the oppression from the dollar. It's just too much. And trust me, the West would not clap for Africa in this one because using the dollar means influence for them. Yes, global influence, global worth. And if we stop demanding the dollar, that's less influence, less power, less dominance. You know what that means? Well, hey, family, is this really going to be possible? The dollar has eaten deep into the fabrics of this African nation. The dollar has gone deeper than we can imagine. Can it really stop? Can it really get to that point where we now trade in our own currency? Let's see how this will pan out, right? Because we are here for it. We want Africa to grow. We want Africa to really, really get to a point where we do not depend on these guys anymore, on the West. We want to have our own currency, speak for us, work for us. That's how we want it to be. Now, these 21 countries under COMESA are looking forward to this payment system, although they are running a trial test between Malawi and Zambia. So if everything goes well, it would be adopted. So let's see how it goes because we are here for it, family. And we simply hope that Africa does the best for itself. We wish Africa the best. And family, what will this do for Africa? It means cheaper trade, faster payments, strong currencies, job creations. Yes, it will bring about job creations for Africans, not giving our jobs to the West. This is freedom for Africa. It is liberation from the mental distress and struggle of thinking about when the dollar is going to rise or when it's going to drop. Imagine being on your toes because of the dollar. Whenever it rises, trouble comes with it. So, family, it is freedom and liberation. It's a mindset shift, not just in governance, in finance, in technology, but in every aspect. But we hope our leaders do not, at the end of the day, turn this into something they embezzle, they loot, they corrupt, because there is nothing they cannot do, right? And this is Africa. Our leaders are greedy. So what do you have to say about the story, family? Comment your thoughts down below and do not forget to share, like, subscribe, and turn on your notification button. Is this a good one for Africa? For more commentaries, download the Africa Diaspora News Channel app. My name is Lynient Akotonou.